What is up, people, and welcome back to part 57 of my F1 2016 career mode here at the Singapore Grand Prix. If you missed Season 1, Season 2, and the first 14 rounds of this third season, you can go check all of those out in the top right corner of your screens with a little card annotation up there. But we're here at the Singapore Grand Prix on the back of two really good results that Belgium and Italy started to make huge strides of catching up Carlos Sainz in the championship. Will we be able to battle for the championship with him? I'm not too sure at the moment, because we're now starting to head into the races where I really do struggle. I struggle so much at the likes of Singapore, Japan, America. We haven't had good races there. We haven't had good races at Mexico either. And we haven't really had any good races at either Brazil or Abu Dhabi. So it is going to be a difficult race, a couple of races for us in the future. But if we carry on making upgrades on the car, then we could possibly still be in a championship battle with Carlos Sainz. Once again, that debate is still open to you guys. Leave a comment down below. Do you think that we should cease research and development after today's race, or carry on getting upgrades throughout the rest of the season? So don't forget to leave a comment down below and vote in the polls in the top right corner of your screens. So as we head into practice to kickstart the Singapore race weekend, here we are, just going to try and get as many resource points as we possibly can, just because in case we do cease research and development, then we've got those in the bank and ready to spend at a later date. But we could possibly be able to upgrade something on the car after today's race, so that could be interesting as well. So we're going to try and do our best. We do manage to get a purple score on the track acclimatization, 21st on the standings in FP1, but lap times don't really matter in practice. Here we are in FP2 though, getting a purple score once again on the tyre wear management. Really good there, running wide down in towards turn 1, but it doesn't really matter. 22nd in FP2, and once again, that doesn't really matter either. But here we are in FP3, cutting the corner a little bit on the final one, but it is going to be good enough for a purple score in this R&D objective. Pretty much getting, well, we did get a full house in all of the research and development objectives that the team wanted me to do, which is absolutely fantastic. It means we're going to get loads of resource points, and it means that we should hopefully be able to upgrade the car after today's Singapore Grand Prix. But it's going to be touch and go. It's going to be very close between whether we get enough resource points or not. But 6th position in FP3 sets us up really nicely for this qualifying session. Last season we had a great qualifying session. I believe we got 4th position last season in the Renault, so we'll be hoping for something similar here today. However, we may not be able to achieve that because the downforce on this Force India isn't exactly the best. But let's head into qualifying and see how we get on. Before we get into today's qualifying session, we have Danny Kvyat as a new rival. We beat Carlos Sainz last time out of the Italian Grand Prix, and now we've got his teammate as our rival. He is just behind us in the championship, so we should be able to beat him in the races. We have been very good against the Toro Rossos in both Belgium and Italy, but we need to carry on that momentum as the races go on. It's going to be tricky, like I said, going into the couple of races that are coming up, but we'll be trying to do our best to try and beat Danny Kvyat. And let's see if we can get a good start on that as we head over to qualifying. Here we are then for today's qualifying session here at the Marina Bay Street Circuit for the Singapore Grand Prix. And here we are on our first flying lap in this qualifying session, coming around the final corner, going on the super soft tyres, just trying to save tyres in the first qualifying session. It's good enough for 10th position at the moment, 142.820, only good enough to beat Marcus Ericsson. We will have to go for another lap time, and this one is currently 6 tenths faster than our previous best. Coming down towards the line, what is the lap time going to be good enough for? It's a 142.3. It's still only good enough for 10th position, so we could be on that cut-off point. Obviously, we've got a long way left to go to drop down positions, but there are a few guys that have not set lap times yet, and it's a good thing that we did go out on the outside tyres as we have dropped down into 17th position, but 1 second quicker on this lap time. It puts us up into 6th position, and that's safely into Q2. So we're going to be very, very happy with that. And that means that we have not embarrassed ourselves by getting knocked out in Q1, which we have seen in the past in qualifying sessions. But it looks like we have finally managed to sort out our 1 lap pace. 6th position there in Q1. Here we are in Q2, coming round the final corner once again, cutting it a little bit. Just need to sort out the corner cutting there through that final corner. It's a 141.850, our first lap time, and it is 2nd place for the time being. We will be going out for more lap times. Here we are on our 2nd lap. 8th position at the moment, so we are safe right now. Right around the final corner, 5 tenths faster. The lap time is good enough for a 141.373, bumping us up into 3rd place. Pascal Wehrlein currently topping the timesheets right now, so great lap there from the Manor Drive. But at the moment, we've dropped down into 6th position for our final lap here in qualifying, coming round the final corner. What is the lap time going to be good enough for? I think it's going to be good enough to stay in qualifying and stay in Q3. Yes, it is. It's 5th position. I think we were safe anyway going in towards that lap, but we need to make sure anyway, and there we are, 5th position in Q2, and that is a very, very good result indeed. And now we head into the top 10 shootout with Nico Hulkenberg topping the timesheets there in Q2, so that is really nice to see. But here we are, first lap here in qualifying, coming round the final corner now. The rain is falling out on tracks. This is the only lap that we are going to be able to set on these old soft tyres. It's only good enough for 2nd place at the moment, just behind Esteban Gutierrez. But where is it going to put us? Lewis Hamilton, he falls behind us, with the rest of the field fall behind us as well. We're just going to have to wait and see. I'm not too sure. No, it's not. It's only good enough for 9th position on the grid, losing out to both my teammate and Danny Kvyat, and of course my championship rival as well, Carlos Sainz, who absolutely destroyed the field. He destroyed Pascal Wehrlein's time by 0.6 of a second. Where does that boy find his pace? Because that is an absolutely astonishing lap there from Carlos Sainz. We have definitely got an uphill climb to try and score some decent points here today against our championship rival. But we are going to try our best and see what we can do in the race. First of all, let me just run you through the starting grid. Carlos Sainz, he has got pole position here today with Pascal Wehrlein in that newly upgraded Manor. I forgot to mention the Manor has been upgraded recently. They are now one of the better teams in F1. They're very close to our performance comparison. So Pascal Wehrlein's in 2nd with Danny Kvyat 3rd. Nico Rosberg lines up in 4th position. Nico Hulkenberg is on the 3rd row with Esteban Gutierrez alongside him in 6th. Roman Grosjean in 7th. Sebastian Vettel in 8th. And I myself line up on the 5th row alongside Lewis Hamilton 9th and 10th. So without any further ado, let's head over to the race for the Singapore Grand Prix. It's race day here at the Marina Bay Street Circuit for round 15 of this season 3. It's the Singapore Grand Prix, of course, and it is raining out on track. That means the track conditions are going to be very, very tricky. It's going to be changeable conditions throughout the whole entire race, starting off with the heavy rain. So that is not good news for us. It's going to be a huge struggle in today's race. It's not exactly what we wanted to see looking out at our hotel window before today's race, but rain has fallen on today's track, and that's something that we are definitely going to have to deal with. We're starting down in 9th position, which is affecting us hugely in the championship because our championship rival there, Carlos Sainz, who has a huge margin over ourselves, about 30-point lead in the championship right now, lines up in pole position. So it is going to be difficult. We have got a huge challenge ahead of us in the heavy rain to try and beat Carlos Sainz. There he is, lining up in pole position with a 140.471. We've got a huge challenge to try and beat him in today's race. We need to get past the likes of Sebastian Vettel and of course my teammate and the other guys that are ahead of me. But we're starting down in P9 on the grid. It's been a difficult qualifying session, especially with the rain coming down the end. I just did not get enough grip on the track and just really struggled. But looking at the race strategy, it's going to go from heavy rain to light rain to dry, back to light rain, and then back to heavy rain for the end of the race. So it'll be interesting to see exactly how that pans out in the race. And we are going to go for lean mix on fuel at the start of the race. So that is why I'm putting my fuel load all the way down, just so I can save fuel at the start. So then I don't actually burn the tyres, burn the rears up too much, because obviously if you put it in rich mix, then you're going to be spinning the rears up quite a lot. So we're going to put it down to lean, save the rear tyres, and hopefully get some good traction out of the corners. But here we are going down in towards turn 1 now for the formation lap, getting the race underway. And we're just going to head back to the starting grid, warm up the tyres, warm up the brakes, and see what we can do in today's race. Here we are then on the starting grid for round 15 of this season 3. The lights coming on now. It's 5 red lights, lights out, and away we go for a very wet and rainy Singapore Grand Prix. A lot of spray on my visor going down in towards turn 1 as the cars bunch up. We go round the outside, going a bit too deep in towards turn 1 and losing out quite a lot of positions because of that dive bomb move. So it didn't exactly work out how we would have liked. We've lost our position to Lewis Hamilton through turn 3 there. Sebastian Vettel gets all out of shape. That puts him into Lewis Hamilton. We had to back off the throttle to avoid that collision. And that allowed Max Verstappen to go round the outside into that corner. There's 3 wide right now through turn 5. So very interesting to see, but Lewis Hamilton loses out on traction. We get the position back on him, moving ourselves into P10 once again, trying to get past Sebastian Vettel on the right-hand side through turn 6. A great move there on the Ferrari driver. Now up the inside of Max Verstappen. A little bit of wheel bang between the two of us. We squeeze him out as much as we possibly can. He's still on the track though, so we didn't exactly do anything illegal. But up into P8 now. Great start to the Singapore Grand Prix, and we'll be looking to carry on this momentum through the rest of the race. Try and catch up to the likes of the P7 and P6, which I believe is Roman Grosjean, and I think Esteban Gutierrez are P6 and P7 right now. But here we are on lap 3 right now, and it looks like the track is drying up, so we believe that it's time to come in for the intermediate tyres. So we're going for a different strategy change to what a lot of the other guys are doing. Looks like the Ferrari of Sebastian Vettel and Lewis Hamilton are deciding to follow the same strategy I'm doing. But there are a few guys that do not believe that it is wet enough to go, it's dry enough to go onto the intermediate tyres. But we do. We're going onto the intermediate tyres now. I'm going to see exactly what we can do on these green wall tyres. But we're losing out so many positions in the pit lane. We've gone from 8th position pretty much to the back of the field, only just beating Felipe Nasr there. So that is really, really disappointing in today's Singapore Grand Prix. To have such a good start, get up into 8th position, but to then be knocked down to the back of the field because of pit stops, it's absolutely so frustrating in today's race. But we need to push on now, get back through the field, and try and get back up into the points. And here we are right behind Felipe Massa. Can we do anything to get past him down through this DRS straight? DRS is not activated, of course, because it is raining. But no, we won't have to worry about that, as Felipe Massa is out of today's race with an engine failure. Huge disappointment there for the Williams driver. We need to be aware. That's why we're over on the left-hand side, just in case he stops on the right, which he does now. But off the racing line, which is a good job there from Felipe Massa. He could have gone all the way down to the runoff area. Not too sure why he did that. And the safety car has been deployed in today's race, which usually would be a good thing. But at the timing that is coming out after I've just made my pit stop, it means that everybody else is going to gain time on me by going on their pit stop onto the intermediate tyres, which means I'm going to lose out, and I'm still down in 20th position because of that. So that's why it's so frustrating. But the race is getting underway once again. Just waiting for the jump. Here we go. The race has been restarted. It's green flagged once again. We need to get past the lights. Lewis Hamilton, Jenson Button, Sebastian Vettel, Marcus Ericsson, get past all of these drivers as soon as we possibly can to try and get back up into the points. Going down in towards turn 1 now. Can we do anything? Lewis Hamilton very late on the brakes there, down in towards turn 1 to put us side by side with the Mercedes driver, but just about getting the position on him. And now we're right behind Jenson Button, who's going for a switchback move on the McLaren driver. Great traction out of the corner, round the outside, down in towards turn 5, side by side with the McLaren driver. And there we go, getting position on Jenson Button, moving ourselves up into P18, and it is a good safety car restart from us. And here we are right on the back of Sebastian Vettel now. Lewis Hamilton having a little look on ourselves, but not daring enough. No, it was on Jenson Button there, not daring enough to go for the overtake on him. And now we're right behind Sebastian Vettel, diving up the inside in towards turn 7, up the inside of Marcus Ericsson as well. I believe that is actually turn 8, sorry, and it's still side by side with Marcus Ericsson. We actually do give him back the position because I thought it was a bit unfair to sort of go into that corner too deep and barge him out of the way. So I did actually give him back that position. Now we need to do it all over again to try and get past Marcus Ericsson. But here we are on lap 9, and as you can see, the track is bone dry right now. So it's definitely time for the ultra soft tyres. I'm going to go for 2 sets of ultra softs because I know that the rain will be coming down by the end of the race. So hopefully I have not made a boo-boo with today's strategy, and hopefully it does actually work out, because otherwise we're going to lose so much time by having to make an extra pit stop to some of the other guys. We could have gone on to the softs, so we could have tried and taken those as long as possible, but I just wanted to be quick because I'm at the back of the field. If I was further up the field, then I probably would have gone for those soft tyres, but because I'm on the ultra softs, I need to be quick and I need to get past these guys as soon as we possibly can. But luckily with this pit stop, we don't actually lose any positions because we get held up, so that is really, really good news. And we are right behind Marcus Ericsson right now, so we need to push on these ultra soft tyres, try and catch up to him, and try and see what we can do in today's race. And here we are on lap 12, right behind the salvage drive. We've got a bit of a train of cars ahead of us. Danny Kvyat, I believe, is leading this train right now, going down in towards this right-hander, under braking, so much braver compared to Marcus Ericsson, using all the track available and just squeezing in front of him, just about getting the car turned in just in time in front of the Sauber driver. And now we are on lap 13, right behind the Williams of Valtteri Bottas, going up the inside, down in towards turn 8, side by side Valtteri Bottas, squeeze him as much as we possibly can against the wall, but Valtteri Bottas comes back fighting. We go for the switchback move down towards the Singapore sling. It's still side by side between myself and Valtteri Bottas, but we're going to squeeze him as much as possible, wheel-to-wheel action, but getting the job done through the Singapore sling and up into P11 in today's race. So it's been a good start for today's race after the safety car, of course. It was a bit messed up because of that, but we've made a good work of it, getting back up into P11 and now fighting with the other guys. But we're deciding on lap 17 it's time to come into the pits for another set of ultra soft tyres, which will hopefully take us all the way till the rain comes down, which should come down in about 15 minutes time. I believe at this point my engineer told me that it should be coming down within 15 minutes time, so hopefully it does do that, and that should work out okay with the amount of laps we are doing on these ultra soft tyres. But it does mean that we're going to be down the field at the moment, but there are a few guys that are going to be making pit stops right now in this race. We can get past those guys in the pit stop phase, but it just depends whether that rain comes down. Have we messed up the strategy or not? We're just going to have to wait and see as this race develops. But it looks like we come out just ahead of Felipe Nasr once again, which is right down the back of the field. We're down in P20 right now, which is disappointing to see, but we do know that we are on a fast set of tyres, so we can put in some good laps while the other guys come into the pits, and we should be able to get past those guys. But we're right behind Romain Grosjean, who does actually have some problems out on track. Not too sure what they are, whether they're just brake failure or something like that. But going up the inside of the Haas driver, down in towards turn 1. It's easy pickings at the end of the day against Romain Grosjean. There we are, up into P17 in today's Singapore Grand Prix. No, it's P16 now as Lewis Hamilton comes into the pits, but right behind Jolyon Palmer, who also has a few problems out on track, going through the final corner right now, getting the power down. We will have DRS on Jolyon Palmer, like we did to Romain Grosjean, going to the left-hand side, up the inside, down in towards turn 1, back up into the top 10 in today's race, back up into the points. As you can see, just very slightly there are a few drivers ahead of us, the Toro Rosso of Danny Kvyat and the McLaren of Fernando Alonso as well. But here on lap 24, the strategy has not worked. The tyres are now starting to deteriorate, and they have definitely fallen off the cliff as Lewis Hamilton goes for a move up the inside. We try and fight him as much as we possibly can, holding it around the outside of turn 1. Great wheel-to-wheel action, to be fair, even though we just don't have the grip on these tyres. And there we are, losing the back end through turn 3, all over the place right now, and that allows Max Verstappen to go round the outside, down in towards this right-hander, down towards turn 6. He gets a very easy move on us, but we are going to defend as much as we possibly can, using the slipstream and DRS, going down in towards this next left hand. It's going to be side by side with Max Verstappen, just about putting our nose in there, but he has greater traction out of the corner because his tyres are so much better than ours that it's an easy move there for Max Verstappen. He takes that position away from us, and now we need to defend from the Haas driver of Esteban Gutierrez, who gets an easy move on the final corner because of the greater traction that he has. We were up into like P8 at that point of the race, which was absolutely fantastic, and now to be down in P11 outside the points and now under pressure from the Renault of Jolyon Palmer. The rain has finally started to come down, so we will be coming into pits on the end of this lap for a set of intermediate tyres, because it's going to go straight to heavy rain. So we know the rain is going to be coming very, very quickly in this race, but unfortunately under pressure from a load of drivers as Valtteri Bottas goes for a move around the outside. But we get a good line through turn 5 there to get position back for him, but he's following in the slipstream, going through the kink of turn 6. Rui Haryanto looking to get involved in this battle as well, trying to go around the outside in towards turn 7. Now squeezing out Valtteri Bottas as much as we possibly can and holding position for the time being through the right-hander of turn 8, and just about holding position from Valtteri Bottas, who's going to have to settle for the time being. But we have a huge train of cars right behind us at the time being, and here we are on board with Romain Grosjean. He gets caught up behind the Sauber driver of Felipe Nasr, puts his car into the barrier. He is out of the race. The virtual safety car has been deployed. The whole field is neutralized, and this is sort of good but sort of bad at the same time. I would have loved a safety car to come out at this point to give us a great chance of getting back at these drivers, but unfortunately the virtual safety car has come out, which is hindering us quite a lot, but it will help us save the tyres. Here's a replay on board with Romain Grosjean going into turn 6. He tries to go up the inside, gets caught behind the Sauber driver, and in the end just puts his car straight into the wall, and that is him out of today's race. So disappointing there from Romain Grosjean, but it's time for us to come into the pits for a set of intermediate tyres. However, I didn't feel like intermediate tyres were the right tyres to go for. I feel like the rain is going to be coming down a lot heavier, a lot quicker at this point. So it'll only be about 2-3 laps, hopefully, that it will be time for the full wet tyres. So we are taking a bit of a gamble, but we have to. We're in no position to score any points right now. And unless anything major happens, we weren't going to score points if we went onto the intermediate tyres. So we decide to go onto the extremes, onto the full wet, right behind Valtteri Bottas right now. So we did lose out a couple of positions in the pit stop phase. However, this could be a great strategy, or it could be an absolutely terrible strategy. We're just going to have to wait and see how this race pans out. We are right behind Valtteri Bottas right now, so we could possibly get past him, but we are going to be under pressure from a lot of these drivers. We don't really need to fight them, because hopefully our tyres will start to warm up and start to get to be level with how wet the track is. But we are going to be under pressure from Marcus Ericsson right now. We can't deny that. We can't really fight it too much, as looks like Marcus Ericsson, here he is all over the back of us on the intermediate tyres, pulling over to the right-hand side. It is going to be an easy move for the Sauber drivers. Side by side, though, with Jenson Button, and we squeeze him out as much as we can on the right-hand side. But he does tuck up behind us here on lap 27. So when is he going to try and go for an overtake? All these guys should be able to get past us within the next couple of laps. So it's going to be disappointing to have to let all of these guys through. Hopefully, though, by the end of the race, we can get back to them. Jenson Button having a little look up the inside of the Singapore Sling. We're doing a good job right now to try and hold it around the outside. Jenson Button gives up on position and has to settle through this right-hander, through this alternated new version of the track for the F1 2016 game, the F1 2016 season. I believe it might have been in F1 in the 2015 season, but they didn't actually put it in the game. I'm not too sure about that. But Jenson Button, great attraction out of the corner because he is on the right tyres at the right time, and he just swoops around the outside down in towards this right-hander. Rio Haryanto also trying to have a go on us, but we've got it under braking side by side with the Manor driver for the time being. However, we just have to concede that position. There was no point trying to fight Rio Haryanto, otherwise it could just end up putting ourselves into the wall. And now we're under pressure from the Red Bull of Max Verstappen and Kimi Räikkönen as well. It's just disappointing to lose out so much to all of these drivers, to have such a good race and just mess it up on strategy, going on those two ultra softs. The rain didn't come down quick enough. If we went ultras and super softs like everyone else did, then it would have been perfect for us. So it didn't really work out too great. But here we are on board with Kimi Räikkönen going through the final two corners right now. We run it wide through the final corner just because there's not enough grip on these wet tyres. As well, too much grip on these wet tyres. They're just too hot and they're just running wide. And Kimi Räikkönen going up the inside. We run it a bit too deep in towards turn one. We take the escape road around the outside, just trying to slow down to make sure that we don't get a penalty. And we're just having to tuck it up right behind the Ferrari driver of... is that Kimi Räikkönen? I think it actually might be Sebastian Vettel out on track. Either way, we've lost position to the Ferrari and the Red Bull driver, and we're not happy about that at all here on lap 28. There's not a lot of time left to go in today's race, so hopefully these tyres do start to pick up and start to give us the grip that we need, and the intermediate tyres start to fall away. But here at the end of lap 28, it still does not look like that is happening. This strategy is just going from bad to worse, as it looks like Kevin Magnussen on the left-hand side going down in towards turn one. We brake early into this corner because there's just no point fighting him. If we fight him, we can put our car into the wall, and that could be the end of our race. Whereas, you know, at the moment, the tyres could still come back at us in the last two laps, and we could still have the opportunity to get back past the Renault driver. So we're just going to have to wait and see how it pans out and exactly what happens. But here we are on lap 30. The tyres are still not working in today's race, and it's got to be probably one of the worst strategies that there has ever been on any career mode at all. You know, going onto the wets and the inters at the right time, went onto the ultra softs, that wasn't too bad. But if I went onto the super softs after that, then it would have worked out, which I did not win onto the ultra softs, and it looks like Felipe Nasr is going to get an easy overtake on us here as we lost the back end through the hairpin. And there we go, Felipe Nasr up the inside. We try and hold it as much as we possibly can around the outside, but it's just not going to work at the end of the day. But like I was saying, the two ultra soft tyres just was not good enough at the end of the day. And then we probably should have gone, we should have gone onto the intermediates. Not probably should have, we should have gone onto the intermediate tyres instead of the full wets. But here we are on board with Carlos Sainz. It looks like he has had a great race for the championship. Really disappointing to see, because we do not want this happening at all, as Carlos Sainz takes home the victory here today at the Singapore Grand Prix. He's won so many races in this season. He's definitely a worthy champion if he goes on to win it. But there's still a long way left to go. There's still about 5 races left to go in this season, so we are still certainly going to battle as much as we possibly can. However, Pascal Wehrlein is going to come round the final corner now to get his first ever podium in Formula 1. What a fantastic result for the Manor driver. Second place here at the Singapore Grand Prix. It's not the first podium for Manor, however, because they have actually got a podium before with Rio Haryanto, I believe, at the Austrian Grand Prix. I'm not entirely sure though, but Rio Haryanto definitely has got a podium so far. Nico Rosberg just about holds off Kimi Räikkönen to take home 3rd position. Kimi Räikkönen in 4th, and my teammate Nico Hülkenberg finishes the race in 5th position. So a good result for Nico Hülkenberg, battling with Danny Kvyat in the championship. Not in the championship, in the race, getting in position there. But here we are on the final lap. We've got Carlos Sainz right behind us, and he actually goes into the back of us into that corner. What on earth is he doing? He's on a slow lap, and he is still faster than us. So that just shows that going onto the wet tyres was not the right decision at all, going into the hairpin. Now, once again, going into the back of us, he gets the inside line into the hairpin. And after this, I was absolutely fed up. I'm not going to gain any positions in this race. He's hit me twice. I'm going to hit him once. Going down in towards this corner. It smacks straight into the back of Carlos Sainz, ruining our race. But it was already ruined after all the strategy errors that we have made through this race. So it was just worth it to get that little bit of frustration of this whole entire race out on Carlos Sainz. Just going straight into the back of him, crashing myself out. Obviously not harming Carlos Sainz's race because he has already finished and won the race. So it was okay to do that. But there is Carlos Sainz. He wins today's race. It's disappointing to see him on the top steps, sort of making the races in Belgium and Italy less relevant, but they all still count. All the points add up towards the end of the championship, and we'll be looking to try and bounce back at the Malaysian Grand Prix, which I have done very well at over the last 2 seasons. It's really good to see as well a man on the podium, especially after all the upgrades that they have made in the recent couple of races. So was Carlos Sainz, who wins today's Singapore Grand Prix. Pascal Wehrlein finishes in 2nd place, a great result for the Manor team. Nico Rosberg in 3rd position, despite the Mercedes not being one of the best teams on the grid. And Kimi Räikkönen also 4th position as well. So great result for them. Nico Hülkenberg finishes to the race in 5th position. A good result for Force India there, but still losing out points on Toro Rosso in the Constructors. Danny Kvyat comes home in 6th position with Fernando Alonso 7th. Max Verstappen 8th. Lewis Hamilton 9th. And Esteban Gutierrez rounds out the top 10. Looking further down the field, and it wasn't a great race for the likes of Daniel Ricciardo, Sebastian Vettel and Kevin Magnussen. Daniel Ricciardo is not really actually too much of a surprise because that Red Bull is not a good car at all in this season. But Kevin Magnussen, Renault are a great team, so are Ferrari in this season. So to be down there is not a good race. But I can't exactly talk too much because I'm down 20th position with a DNF, of course, because it stands to that because I crashed down the final lap. But it was just a disappointing race for us. Messed up the strategy massively. Going on to those 2 sets of Ultra Softs was not a good idea. We should have gone Ultra Softs and Super Softs, and then we should have gone on to the Intermediates instead of the Extreme Wets, because they only really started to come into effect at the end of the race, and even then they weren't good enough compared to the Intermediate tyres. So really, really huge mistake there in terms of strategy. Let's see how it affects us in the championship, and it's not going to be good at all because the gap is now 60 points to Carlos Sainz in the championship. With 6 races left to go, it is still possible, of course, to win the championship. You know, if we gain 10 points on him every race and then 12 points on him in the final race, then we are going to be world champions. So it's as easy as that. But obviously Carlos Sainz is going to be really good in the last couple of races, possibly challenging for wins. I need to start challenging for wins across the rest of the season, which hopefully we can do next time at the Malaysian Grand Prix, which of course is a good circuit for us. Let's see how this affects us though in the Constructors standings, and that one is definitely falling away from us as well. The gap is 144 points. We've lost out about 20 points there to Toro Rosso in today's race. It is still achievable. We can still catch up to Toro Rosso and win the Constructors Championship, but we need myself and Nico Hülkenberg to start getting some 1-2s this season. Otherwise, it's just not going to be possible at the end of the day. Because Toro Rosso have had a couple of 1-2s this season, especially at the beginning. So, yeah, we do need to definitely pick up our game and try and catch up to those guys in the Constructors. But that is it for today's really disappointing Singapore Grand Prix. Let's head back to the menus. Looking at the rivalry update against Danny Kvyat, it's not going to be a good one after such a bad race today. We still get a tick for finishing the race because we did 31 laps at the end of the day, but it's 13-5 against Danny Kvyat. Really, really disappointing there, and we're going to have to pick it up. But you know, we have seen that in the past, like with Carlos Sainz before Belgium and Italy. We were behind, then we picked it back up, and we managed to beat those guys. So yeah, we could possibly beat Danny Kvyat in this rivalry against him. Looking at the resource points though, 1,122, missing out on an upgrade by 28 points, which is really disappointing. So it means that we will definitely be upgrading something at the Malaysian Grand Prix. Not too sure though whether I will be upgrading, whether I'll be ceasing research and development. Obviously I've left that up to you guys, so don't forget to leave a comment down below and vote on this video whether I should cease research and development or not. I'm kind of more towards not doing it because I want to still battle for the championship, and doing as many upgrades as possible is going to give me the best chance of doing that. But that is it for today's Singapore Grand Prix. If you have enjoyed the episode, don't forget to smash that like button. Also, subscribe to my channel if you're new around here. And I'll see you tomorrow with the Malaysian Grand Prix. Yes, that's right. If you haven't already noticed, this career mode is going back to a daily series. I loved it so much when I was doing a daily series. I've been caught up recently. I just sort of lost motivation through this season 1, but I'm going to start to get back into it, start to make it a daily series once again, so hopefully you guys can look forward to that. So I will see you next time at the Malaysian Grand Prix, but until then, it's goodbye from me.